Welcome to the Entertainment Roundup. I'm J77, giving you the lowdown on some of the stuff that's been happening in the entertainment world within the past few weeks. Again, this is a Matic Expression production, all rights reserved, and is brought to you via through Daily Motion, Springbox, and of course YouTube. Guys, this has been a very interesting thing that's been going on in the world of sports, especially with the 49ers quarterback, Collins Kaepernick, who is taking a stance against the American flag, his own personal protest, which has been followed by a couple of other stars. This involving the performance of the Star Strangled Banner. He's not saluting the game. He's basically taking a knee. And he's been taking a lot of boos for doing what he's doing. It also says he was met with heavy boos, with the crowd doing a pregame warm-up and doing the first offensive drive at Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego. This was the preseason game, of course. We have lots of issues in our country that needs to be dealt with, he said after the game. We have lots of people that are oppressed, and we have a lot of people that aren't treated equally, ain't giving the equal opportunity. The game concluded with a salute to the military night, which saw 240 sailors, Marines, and soldiers present at the U.S. flag in the pregame parachute jump by retired Navy SEALs. Now, this is not the first time he has done this. He had drawn controversy a few weeks back with the same thing, and it looks like he's not taking a stance. There are even police officers who are angry at him, saying they're threatening to not patrol the games as this continues. And there are a lot of people from both sides bringing their issues. I can understand why the player is doing this. I understand what he's doing, and I respect him for what he's doing this for a lot of reasons. First of all, let's get this out the way here. He's not the first athlete to have taken a stand and not salute or recognize the American flag. I'm going to go back to the Bush administration when the war on Iraq had begun, and how people was not very happy with what was going on. They felt it was nothing more than a revenge ploy, and he's sending people to a battlefield that had nothing to do with it. There were people that were so disgusted that some people from the sports level, including the entertainment world as well as the sports level, took a stance where they spoke against it in their music. But there were some athletes who didn't salute the flag. There was a girl, I believe, in a college basketball game, I think in Staten Island, I believe, who turned her back at the American flag as a sign of protest. This was big news. However, Bush had said something that I gotta, give him props for doing. That's in her right to do so. She has that freedom to do it, and if she feels that that's our expression, then so be it. She should be do it without any ridicule or any kind of consequences from the political party or any of the news parties. And the same goes with the 49er quarterback. Do I agree with his stance on this? No. I understand why he's doing it. I respect his protest. He has the right to do it. I just hope he understands that the flag represents a lot more than negativity. It represents our country. It represents who we are, the good and the bad. And also keep in mind, and I say this as a principal reason, a lot of our brave men and women have died so you can do that protest. A lot of brave men and women gave their lives to keep this country free. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. He's 100% right. There is still oppressed people. There's still unequal opportunities, and there are still people out there who is facing institutionalized racism. Both me, as African American, have experienced it. A lot of Latinos experience it, and the Muslims experience it. So I can clearly understand what he's doing, but also at the same time, please keep in mind that the reason why you're protesting and the reason why no one took a shot at you, which, by the way, if you go to other countries, they take their flag seriously. They take the national anthem pride seriously, where they can put you in jail for years. This is the one unique thing about this country is you can have that freedom of speech without fear of prosecution by any other political or non-political people who disagree with what you're doing. Not many countries have that, so please keep that in mind. At the same time, I think people shouldn't make that big of a deal of it. I understand why they're booing, but at the same time, I'm hoping they're at least listening to why he's doing what he's doing and why he's choosing to do what he is. I mean, his sentence says it all. We have a lot of issues, and he just cannot, by his own conscience, salute a flag that continues to have these type of issues surfacing in the year 2016. At the same time, it's not really the flag that's causing it. It's the people who A, runs this country, B, make the policies, and C, continue to throw hate mongering to people who still believe in this stuff that is being thrown out there. So I hope he also understands that as well. It's not just the government officials. There's a whole lot of string of things that's leading to this mess that needs to be addressed from all walks of life. Let's move on here. From that to this pitchman, or the ex-Subway pitchman, I like to call. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Jared Fogle. He made the news again. Fogle is suing the parents of his victim, which I find it's very sad that this guy doesn't get it. Jared Fogle is a former Subway pitchman. You pretty saw his commercials. He's in prison for child pornography, sex with a minor. His conviction stands to 15 years. There's a lawsuit filed on his behalf. This is pretty much a counter lawsuit because he's being sued by the victim's family. He said he's blaming the parents for what he called destructive behavior such as drinking and drug abuse. The 38-year-old has become famous in shredding weight at a diet that includes sandwiches from the fast food chain. Pleaded guilty on November 15th in charge of child pornography and traveling for illicit paid sex with a minor. A civil lawsuit has been brought up against him on the behalf of the girl, and in response to it, Fogle argues that the parents should be the third-party defendant alongside him, and that they may have been liable for all or part of the daughter's claim against him. I want to repeat this here. This is very important. This is something that's where this all falls into it. He is arguing that they may be liable for all part of the daughter's claim against him. Basically what this is all about is, I didn't do anything wrong. It is the victim that did everything wrong. It's the family that did anything wrong. Notice in this whole argument, he's not taking responsibility for what he has done. Fogle, be a freaking man. Okay? Own up to your own stuff. Look what you have done. Look what you're continuing to do. And seek the help that you desperately need. This is a man in straight denial. This is a man who really don't get it. Who don't understand the nature of his own crime. And is basically blaming everybody else except for him. Look, bro. You did the crime. You pleaded guilty to the crime. Own up to what you did. And get the help that you desperately needed. Because it's clearly that you still don't see you did anything wrong. This whole thing, this whole line says it all. In a civil lawsuit brought against him on his behalf of the girls, and in response to it on Thursday, Foley argues that her parents should be the third-party defendant alongside him, and that they may be liable for all or part of their daughter's claim against him. Oh, it's the parents who's really at fault here. I didn't do anything wrong. You pleaded guilty to the crime. They had you on tape. This wasn't just something I spur of the moment. This was years of investigation, which disturbs me why the feds would let it go that long. If you want to be honest. But come on, man. If this actually falls through, I'm really concerned. I'd be stunned if this lawsuit goes through. I really do. But Fogel, man. Jared. Be a man. Grow up. Own up to what you did. Get the help you need, man. You seriously need some help. This is a man who desperately needs some help. This is a man who's sick and needs to really start getting the help. This is a blame game beyond disbelief. You're gonna blame the victim and the victim's family for what you did? Have you forgotten what you did? Have you forgotten what you were sent to jail for? Come on, man. It goes on and said that Jared said in a complaint that her parents were liable for her harmful activities. Her harmful activities. Forget about him. Her harmful activities. There's like alcohol abuse, substance abuse, and self-humiliation and sexual activities. Again, the blame game. I did nothing wrong. Yeah, I pleaded guilty to this, but I did nothing wrong. You got to be out your mind. Now, of course, the attorney for Fogel declined to comment. Attorneys for the victim said in a statement they will be filing a federal court proceeding. It is not immediately clear how the representative of the victims representing the victim families. The victim, who was under 18 at the time of the offense, have not been identified to protect her property. She was videotaped by an associate of Fogel's pornographic stuff. But again, it's the parents' fault. It's the victim's fault. Denial is crazy here. That's denial 101. That man needs some serious help. That man needs to be in a treatment immediately. He needs a wake-up call. They don't need to wait. They need to put him in treatment now, because he doesn't get it. And this whole line says it all. Notice, he's not taking responsibility for any of what he has done. He's throwing it right back to the victim and the victim's family. That man needs help. According to the article, they're seeking into $150,000 in personal damages and mental anguish. I'm surprised it's not more. It says here you're serving 15 and a half years in prison. The prison sentence, which was upheld by the U.S. Appeals Court in Chicago in June. So he did try to appeal it. Kind of hard to appeal something that you plead guilty to. But they had you on tape, man. Amazing. That's a man who needs help. Seriously, he seriously needs help, man. He needs to get the help he needs, man. Stop blaming the victim. Stop blaming that "oh, woe is me" game. It's not gonna work. You need help, man. Get the help. That's scary. The fact that he does a countersuit, trying to blame everything back on the victim. You preyed upon these people. You was caught on tape preying upon these people. you've done a serious crime, you need to get the help. We really need to get the help. Seriously. Moving on. Oh man. Twitter to share revenue on video by U.S. users. You know, it's kind of strange I bump into this one where YouTube is going through another one of their crazy policy change that just ticked off a lot of people. But this one I actually wanted to keep as a reminder and pretty much as a little update as to why YouTube needs to be mindful that, hey, you know what? It takes just one site to change the game. But this is according to Rutgers. That Twitter's Inc. on Tuesday stepped up to the battle of attaching video talent to its platform, saying it will allow U.S. users to upload videos to share in any advisory revenue it generates. Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and YouTube are all competing to keep the recent top videos talent as they seek to cash in on a wave of televised style advertisement that has been moving to the internet. Now, before I go any further, this is why I don't understand YouTube's motivation and why they will make something broad as they have done. Like I said, I don't do this for a living. I do this as a hobby, and I make it very clear that I don't never monetize any of my stuff. That's not why I came to YouTube for. I'm here to enjoy myself, to share my opinions, have fun, and to look at other people's content as well as get feedback to what I just mentioned. That's what I'm here for, and I accepted that. If I'm going to do something that involves advertising, it would never be on YouTube because simply fact I don't trust them. But I also recognize that YouTube have a snotty attitude towards those who have done everything they can to try and make YouTube a great place to watch videos on, and they keep shooting themselves in the foot every time. And this latest debacle is one of them. It says that Twitter have already offered revenue sharing in media and entertainment companies such as CBS Corp and National Football Leagues, and post videos throughout the Amplified Publishing program. That option will now be open to any Twitter user, Twitter said in a blog post. YouTube has long offered its video stars to cut the revenue. Facebook, for its part of a ramp up to its live video production in recent months, and paid reasonably small numbers of media companies and celebrities to generate videos. Facebook said it is testing ways to create substantial long-term monetization models for live videos that include new and different ways of sharing revenue with some partners. Instagram and Snapchat have relied heavily on celebrities and offered have millions of followers to encourage using engagement and growth by posting personal photos and videos. So in case you're wondering why a lot of these celebrities go to a lot of these places, they do get paid a lot of money. And you know what? To them it's justified because they got a lot of followers. Twitter's new program will offer video creators 70% of the shares. That's a huge bump. YouTube, which owns an Alphabetic Inc., Google shares 55% of the ad revenue with content creators. Twitter said individual users will also be allowed to share their videos on other platforms. Under the chief executive Jack Dorsey, the company had made a significant push into video signing deals with several media companies and sports organizations to stream major events. YouTube shares dipped, this is very also important, 0.5% to close at $18.38 in the New York Stock Exchange on Tuesday. Now, I'm going to say this. From what I've read on this and from what I've been following on this, this doesn't include everybody. That's the very important key. But it looks like they're trying to slowly push for that. Twitter would never be a video platform. Let's keep that real. But they are pushing for videos to be put on their site. And if it works out, that's another way of potential well-talented, well-deserving video makers such as Philip DeFranco, Amazing Atheist, just to name a few, to generate revenue. It is also should serve as a wake-up call that this is just the beginning, and that other platforms are doing the same. Now, let's be honest, they're not there in YouTube's league, not going to be in YouTube's league, but you see where the pendulum is going. There's a competition going on. There is a huge competition, and Twitter is not stupid. They know who the big guys are. They know who Dark Walker is. They know who Phil DeFranco is. They know who they are. And if they come up to say, hey, Philip, you having a problem with YouTube, come over here. You put your videos with us. We'll give you a piece of the pie. So he may not get revenue from YouTube, but he's going to get a lot of revenue from Twitter. And here's another thing about this: if Twitter wants to really be a true competitive, if they choose to, they can actually make their own little video division and have people just post there directly. They're not there yet, but it could be a possibility, and that can change the game completely. And if you think that they can't because they're Twitter and they're just a micro blogging site, think again. Like I said before in my standalone video about what YouTube was doing, there are other options out there that people need to start seeking. And to me, I think the time is now. All right. And if YouTube have forgotten that they're competing against other people who want that revenue stream, and is willing to share the revenue with very popular, knowing that they can generate not only tweets but views, they're gonna do it. If they feel that the price is better on the other side, they're gonna do it. And if a video sharing channel comes along that is similar to YouTube, but offers more freeway in terms of making video content at the same time, add a monetization so they can make money off their videos, they're gonna do it. And YouTube need to recognize this. That's the reason why I brought this up on this podcast. They need to recognize that there is this shift now, and it takes one. It may not be Twitter, it may not be Facebook, it may not be Pinterest, it may not be Instagram, it may not be any of the sites existing, but it takes one. It probably be a run-of-the-mill site that nobody ever heard before, pops up out of nowhere, or word of mouth spreads. Next thing you know, it's the hottest thing on the world. And YouTube is going to be left behind, just like MySpace. And if they think they're too big, that they can't fail, ask anybody who's still on MySpace right now. MySpace is not even in the radar of a lot of people. MySpace who? Well, MySpace for kids. Nobody uses MySpace anymore. You're not on Facebook right now? This is something that YouTube needs to take a close attention to. And understand they are in competition. And it is a fierce competition. That's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to give you a heads up of the next Entertainment Roundup. It's going to be exclusive about the movie this year, 2016. It's officially, the summer blockbusters is officially over. We're now heading towards the pre-fall, fall, winter lineup. But I want to give my take on this year's summer blockbusters, and boy, oh boy, did Hollywood took a hit. So that's going to be a standalone video for that. So I hope you guys will join me for that. But again, I want to thank everybody for joining me for this podcast. Really, really fun. And before I go, I wanted to just do an honorable mention, especially for those who are getting hit in the wallet with all the pharmaceuticals. I said this before in What's News. I'm also do it here from time to time, probably more on the What's News than here. I'm going to start doing what we call pretty much a community shout out, which means that I'm going to be giving information about possible programs that you probably don't know exist, but is out there that could be very, very helpful. And it's going to be more of this because, frankly, a lot of there are programs out there that are designed to help people who can't feed their families, or places where they can help them get the quality services like food stamps and or the health they need. It's important that these programs are known, and many people probably never heard of it because, again, the states don't do a good job advertising. You're really gonna have to go and ask. You really have to go and look, and you really have to be specific on the information that you're looking for. I mentioned this on What's News. I'm mentioning it here that there are programs dedicated to help people with their drug addiction. There are programs to help people in terms of searching jobs, especially those who have criminal background checks. There are also a list of jobs that give you details of the salaries, the qualifications, and whether your felony will make you qualify for that job or not. There are actual information, and if you write to your local assemblyman or the capital of which human resources is being held, like mine is in the capital of Albany, I write to Albany about I like to know some of the information of jobs that are available in my state, and guess what? They will give you a list of jobs both locally and from a private level, nonprofit level, and from a city or statewide level. They'll give you the jobs, what qualification you need, what steps you need to take, and they even give you a schedule and time of when to take if the qualified test if needed to be. So there are information out there that is very crucial. There are medical clinics that does free medical scans. There are also schedules of medical vans that does free screening, free medical screenings. This recently, we had a big drive for 2 whole weekends. We had people from different organizations, community outreach, as well as some church organizations giving out free books and pencils for kids and parents who can't afford books. This has been a very strong issue. School is only a few days away, yet there are a lot of parents who couldn't afford to buy their kids books because, again, they're expensive, rent is expensive, food is expensive, and that has seemed to have taken more precedence than having a backpack and having the kids the proper supplies they need to start the school year. So there are programs out there that does it, and kudos for them to actually reach out. But this is part of the program that you probably didn't even know existed, and probably didn't know existed have they not revealed themselves at the time they have done it. So it's very, very important that we are informed about all the programs out there that is needed in New York City. All the programs, not just New York, of course, but everywhere around the globe. I say New York because that's where I'm from, and being that I'm in a state that is very expensive, or at least the city is very expensive, it is definitely crucial for families or individuals who are single, trying to survive in the city. It's very crucial to get all the information you can, as well as job opportunities and medical opportunities that you may be qualified for but don't know existed. So I will be starting doing that more and more often on these podcasts because it's very, very important. Probably in the beginning, most likely, but also probably in the end, just so I can get to the news and then talk about the stuff that is very important. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's all I got to say on this podcast. Thank you again for listening. As always, your opinion is very, very important. Please put it down in the comment section. And until next time, this is J77 saying take care, be safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.